Our previous effect, smoke single, works well, but I'd like to add more variations in the smoke by using different textures. One way to do this is to create a sub-UV texture with X tiles of 2, 4, 8, 64 different textures. The textures can be chosen randomly or as a part of an animation sequence. This is a texture made of 4 tiles, with 4 different textures, all the same size but different shapes. I save the texture and name it based on the number of tiles. A good nomenclature is a key to a good organization and workflow. The name of the texture would be called Smoke 2x2, 2 tiles horizontally, 2 vertically. Back in Unreal, I import the texture. I will not create a default material, but instead use a copy of our previous Smoke Single matte. The material is duplicated and renamed accordingly to Smoke 2x2 matte. I copy the name of the texture with copy full path and name to clipboard and set up my material. It could work like this, but I replace the texture shape by a texture sub-UV module, then connect the diffuse and alpha channels to the materials. Clicking on the little camera icon will create a snapshot of the particle system. I duplicate the first smoke single emitter we have created. I add the particle system in the level, then add a proper material, smoke 2x2. The particles now display our texture with all the tiles at the same time. In the required module, I tell the engine to use our sub-UV set to random to have a different texture each time a particle is spawned. Here, I'm playing with the texture in Photoshop, changing the values, contrast, or luminosity. I save the texture under the same name and re-import to update the texture and material. Back in Photoshop, I add some shadows and highlights for a test. Save, re-import. Lots of tweaks between the texture and the particle system behaviors, colors, opacity, some changes in the texture itself. Now it looks quite good. You should look at your effects from different points of view to change the background. Remember, we're in a game, so the effects must look good from whatever angle the player is looking at this smoke. Once the emitter is ready, it is easy to drastically change it by changing the texture. Having some base emitters which can be duplicated and tweaked is a key to a higher productivity. Keep this in mind. Reuse your stuff frequently. It looks completely different, but the exact same behavior. Just be careful with the scale of the texture. It has to be realistic.